A few weeks ago, I had to get files off an ancient computer with only 32 megs of RAM. And of course I failed. I tried the damn small Linux, and that sort of worked. It was just so unfamiliar to navigate around, because Linux is its own thing, I guess, and none of the standard key presses work. So I found this other one. I found this one called MyTracks. It's like a 50 megabyte Linux CD, and what's so cool about it is it's got all the standard Linux stuff. So things like this. It's got all the network utilities. It's got the CD writing software. It's got AbiWord. So that's kind of nice. It's got GIMP. Look at that. GIMP that starts in less than a few seconds. And GIMP has layers. If only I could remember how to show the layers. There it is. So that's a big deal. Like sometimes the newer software isn't necessarily better. So I just it's really kind of neat how the old software tends to run great on new computers. But the key thing to get out of this is this Linux runs in 32 megs of RAM. I tried it out on the virtual machine, and of course I had to try it out on a real computer. Sure enough, it works on a real computer. Like this is a old Pentium 3 ThinkPad X24, so it does run on that. But this one has way more than 32 megs. So I'll show that in a second. I did some customizations to this. So I moved the little menus around. I changed some icons. I made a mounting script here. So the thing about this mounting script is when you plug in like a USB key or something, it tends to be really slow. And you can't use it from the command line. So if for whatever reason you're not in X, you can still use this auto mount tool. I called it Mount Moo. Here's what MyTracks looks like booting up. So I just pick my ISO, and often it removes it from here when you have CD caching turned on. So it ejects the CD. Oh, let's try that again. Okay. So it's booting up. Once booted up, you can have a look at the mounting tool I made. So it's just a simple script, but what I made it do is most mount tools you need to be in X to use, but this one you can use from the command line. And I really hate typing in mounting commands for new devices and changing the FS tab and doing all that nonsense. So this just mounts it as the directly. So in this case, if I want to take my USB key and mount that, I just press number 2 on the keyboard. Okay, Then I push enter, and it's mounted. So if I wanted to copy any files off of it, I can go to UExplore, and then I scroll down, and the mouse wheel works on this thing. So I go to, I think it was under Mount, and then SDA1 for my USB stick. Oh, I can only click on, okay, here we go, and there's my USB stick. So you could do all the standard operations here. So you could, if you wanted to edit it, and I stole this from Puppy Linux, this little menu. So there it is. The other thing I changed to this is I added a remastering menu and an ISO creating thing. So if you wanted to, like this is the problem with most of these LiveCDs. They have a little menu thing that for remastering, and you have no clue how it works. In mine, I have a file in user sbin called remaster. It's just a script, and you can pretty much change anything in the system that you need to change. So if you needed to change the main startup script, you'd have to edit that in the init.rd.gzip file. So you could actually do that here. You just press number 5. Oh, it's not mounted. Okay, so this is the thing with this is it unmounts it. So let's mount that again. So let's try pressing number 5, and it doesn't give you any. The errors are pretty obvious what's going on. So here it says no medium found. So we know the CD is not in. So I push number 5, you push enter. And then if you want to change init RD, it puts it in temp by default. And of course you can change it. So there's init RD, and it didn't work. Oh, it didn't work because it didn't work the first time, and I didn't take account for that. So so the way around it would be just to press 8 to remaster it, even though it's empty. So just press 8. So that'll unmount, that'll delete the loop partition drive, and then I'll try 5 to extract it again, and there it is. So there's our init RD, and there's our Linux RC. And we can go to open with. And if you want to change anything, how the system starts, you can do that right here. So you can add any extra little commands that you need to. And then when you're done, you just press 8 to remaster init RD. Oh, okay. So 8 to remaster. And it says no file found because it tries to delete any existing file with that name in temp. But anyway, there it is right there. You can also do the same thing with the kernel. So you press 6 to extract the kernel. So there's kernel. There's the root kernel stuff. So all the config files and stuff for this are here. Like the menu, if you want to change something in the menu, you go to root, you go show hidden files, and the main menu is in here. So there it is. Oh, the scroll wheel doesn't work on this one, but anyway, it's all here. So in this case, that's the office menu there. So office, and oh, there it is right there. So that corresponds to that. you can do the same thing for the main file system. So under 7, extract main file system. Go back, and there's your main file system. And then when you're done editing the file system, you go 10 to remaster the file system, and that makes a MyTracks.fs file. And of course, this is all useless because you can't make a disk out of it. So I've taken care of that as well. So if you want to make a disk of this, but before I do, I'm going to change one of the scripts on here. So I'm going to it was I think MyTracks 2 ISO that I made. So this thing, when you're done changing the software to what you want, like moving all the programs and things that you need in here, what you do is you could like literally just press number 6 and press enter, and that would make an ISO for you. But in my case, I have to edit something, so I'm going to press number 3. And then I'm going to edit my file. So the file I'm going to edit is in here. So that's the file I want. So we're going to go open with LeafPad. And I'm going to remove CD cache out of there. I'm going to save it. So without that, this thing will run on a 32 megabyte RAM system. I don't know of anything that'll run on 32 megabytes. So it's good if you need to get files out. So save. Okay, and now I can make my ISO, and just to show you, there's no ISO file in there. And I press number 5 to make my ISO. Okay, and made my ISO. Then I can press 7 to write my ISO to disk. Now, because this is a virtual machine, the drive might not be the same on every computer, so I've accounted that too. So in this case, we have a Hitachi drive here. So I've got an external USB drive because modern computers don't have CD-ROMs anymore. So I've done that. So I've attached it, and in this case, I'll have to press number 6 to select the writer. So in this case, I think it's 00, and this time I do have to press 1 because that way it'll update it. Okay. And I'll press number 7 to write my disk. Restart the virtual machine for this thing to work. I guess it doesn't work while I'm filming. So I did a CD record /scan bus, and it's device 0. So on here, I just make it device 0. And all right, so my disk is on device 0 on CAN bus. So let's go 6. So number 1 for device 0. And then 7 right to disk. The CD just finished, so I'll pop it in there. And this particular computer has got a really old, I think, Pentium 166. So I turn off the CD cache, and look at that, it's even booting up. This one's got 64 megs of RAM. I'll have to find one. I think I had one with 32, just for testing. So I'll pull that one up and see if it in fact does run on 32 megs. I had it running on Windows 95, but of course there's like zero USB support on Windows 95. So all you could really do is plug in like a hard drive or something. But with this, I've got full USB support. So if I plug in the mouse, it just works right away. There's probably some reason why the USB didn't work, but when all else fails, this thing has a network card, so you could use FTP to copy the files over. So in this case, I'll just do DHCP, plug it into the back of my router. So and then specify the host for my router, which is 192.168.0.1. Push enter, and as soon as it gets the IP, for some reason the USB stick didn't want to get detected. I had to reboot, and then finally the USB stick got detected and auto-mounted. So now Control Escape. Then I go to Programs. I go to Accessories, Midnight Commander. Then I find my folder. There it is. It actually loaded up. So there's my USB stick. And the other thing about this is sometimes you need to make like forensic copies. So if you go to so that means that you need to save a drive for later with everything in it. Like if you need to undelete files and things. Out of the box, this thing came with something called Part Image and Part Image D. Part Image D is for the network. Part Image is the actual backup tool. So in this case, I load it up. And again, everything's all nice in a text mode. So in my case, the C drive on here is SDC, and then you just push next. Oops, you got to type in a file name. So okay, so file name. So I type in /mnt/ASDA1/ okay, then I go next. Okay, then I go F5 to continue. Yeah, so test is my description. Oh, I gotta press tab. There we go. It says what it's gonna do, so I'm gonna push OK. And it's making a backup of my C drive on here. Not quite as good as the other tools out there, but this, as far as I know, is the only one that'll run on a really low-end system like this. So so there you go. Because it's a USB 1.0, it's super slow, but it doesn't really matter because this is a 64 gig flash card anyway. So it's fast enough for this purpose. Again, Linux is multitasking, so I can do other stuff. It might slow it down, but just to show you that, so it's under SDA 1, I think. Takes a while to load up. So there's my file. It's almost done copying it over, but the point is it got copied onto the USB stick, and if we needed to, we can restore it the same way. Before I forget, I call this thing MyTracks Plus. So the link is over in the end of the video. So there you go.